My name is Helen Grace Morton, and I never imagined that love could grow quiet. I spent most of my life believing that if you raised your children with kindness, they would return it in your final days. But I learned something different. Love is not always repaid in the same currency. I had one son, David. He was my pride, my laughter, and, for the longest time, my reason to get up every morning. When his father died in a factory accident, it was just the two of us against the world. I worked 2 jobs, saved every penny, and made sure he never missed a birthday cake, a graduation, or a dream. And when he grew up and married a woman named Sophie, I thought my heart had finally exhaled. She was polite, pretty, and sweet, the kind that hugged me too long and called me mom even when she didn't mean it. The years went on, and I got older, slower. Arthritis took my hands, and my eyesight dimmed. Still, I cooked for them every Sunday, pretending I didn't see how quickly they left after dessert. Then, one spring morning, David sat me down. "Mom, we've been talking," he began. "We think you'd be more comfortable somewhere with care." I frowned. "You mean a nurse?" He hesitated. "More like a home." A home. As if I hadn't built one myself. I tried to protest, but Sophie smiled gently. "It's only temporary, Mom, until we can fix up the guest room." I moved in with a small suitcase and a heavy heart. The place smelled like disinfectant and loss. The staff were kind, but their kindness felt rehearsed. Every morning, they said, "Good morning, Helen." Like a clock striking the same tone. I waited for David to visit. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. He came twice. Both times, he left early. "Work's been crazy, Mom," he'd say. "Sophie's been sick." "You understand." Of course, I understood. Mothers always understand. Then one morning, Nurse Emily walked in with a worried face. "Helen, you've got a call, it's urgent." It was David, but his voice sounded different, fragile. "Mom," he said, "I'm in the hospital. I need a kidney transplant. None of my matches worked. They said you might be a match." For a long moment, I said nothing. I could hear Sophie crying softly in the background. I imagined the same son who left me to strangers now lying in a hospital bed, scared, waiting for the mother he'd forgotten. I didn't say yes immediately. Instead, I told him I'd think about it. When I hung up, Nurse Emily sat beside me. "What will you do?" she asked. I looked out the window at the rain. "Something a mother does best," I said. "Teach her child a lesson." The next day, I called the hospital. "Yes," I told them. "I'll be tested." The results came back. I was a match. David called again, crying. "Mom, thank you." "I don't deserve it." "No," I said softly, "you don't." The surgery was scheduled for the following month. I arrived early, carrying a single letter in my purse. It was addressed to him. When I woke up after the procedure, my side ached like fire, but my heart was quiet. David came in later, pale and emotional. He knelt by my bed and whispered, "I'm so sorry, Mom." I didn't answer right away. I just looked at him, the boy I raised, the man who forgot me, the son I still loved despite it all. Finally, I said, "Don't thank me for saving your life. Thank me for giving you another chance to live it right." A few weeks later, I returned to the nursing home. But something changed. David came every weekend. He brought flowers, took me for walks, even fixed the squeaky windows in the lounge. One afternoon, he said, "Mom, I'm selling my house. You're coming to live with us, for good this time." I smiled. "David," I said, "I already have a home. It's here with people who don't forget me." He looked hurt, but I took his hand. "Maybe one day, I'll visit. But for now, let's both remember what home really means." A year later, I passed my driving test, not for a car, but for a new wheelchair. I laughed as Nurse Emily cheered me on. David visited often. He brought grandkids who hugged me tight and said, "Grandma, Daddy says you saved his heart." Maybe I did. But the truth is, I saved mine too. So to anyone listening, sometimes forgiveness isn't about saying "I forgive you." It's about showing someone who they could have been all along. Because when they realize what they almost lost, that's when they finally see who you were all along.